the little bottle of compressed gas for that air horn. Well, I cut it to pieces, tried to make a stove out of it. I had this idea come to me. Well, I guess I'll just show you what it is. I've got holes all around the bottom of this thing, and that is simply because this size container for the compressed gas for the air horn, I think certain containers of butane also come in a bottle that's the same size. The only reason why I've got this here is because it fits down inside of this perfectly. Yeah. So those holes along the bottom are to allow the fuel to flow into that thing. I like these little things that these. I don't think it's accurate to call them a sterno, since this isn't even gelled fuel like a real sterno. It's a wick style thing, but I like that it's got a lid and it's short, stable, and once you pry the little thing with a little plate that holds the wick out, you got a nice little container. And using this as an alcohol stove, I suspect you might be able to just wad up some carbon felt and shove it down in there, and that's it. You could have a lid. Is that cheating? Is that too easy? But I'd like to be able to spread the flame out larger than this little opening gives you. And so I came up with this. You pull this thing out and you rotate these little burner arms like that. Alright. And so each one of these little burner arms, it's got burner jets. The end is plugged with a little set screw, and I've got cotton string going inside, and the idea is that the wick draws fuel into here, and since this is hot because of the flame, the fuel vaporizes in here and I get nice flames coming out of the jets. But then it's also, you know, somewhat collapsible. You can fold these back and they set in there just like that, and you can screw the lid back on. I was very excited about this, and it didn't really work. And I'll put some fuel in there and I'll show you what it does. Should be enough. Anyway, okay, so you deploy the burner arms like so. one of them went. This one's shooting at the end. That one's kind of going. This one's having trouble. I'm going to shut the lights off. Lots of vapor production right there at that one hole. You can see the vapor in the jet sort of tapered off, and now it's just burning in the center, just like it was when it was kind of preheating. So this is how it continues to burn after it looks like it was going to work. I'll blow that out. And what I think is happening is, since my wick is exposed, too much of the fuel is being burnt off before it even gets into here. And I think that's why it appears to work initially, because the wick has already soaked fuel into here and you just got to get it hot. Once that is dried up, this wick can't replenish it quickly enough. Partially because it's exposed and burning right there. And also perhaps this cotton string isn't a very good wick. I'd like to try some carbon felt. It seems to be a superior wicking material. I just haven't got around to getting any. But if this doesn't work because the wicks are exposed at the back like that, then that's a big problem, because I don't really know how I could shield that, because it would need to be flexible or else I wouldn't be able to collapse this thing down like that. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. If anybody has any ideas. I'll remove this burner arm assembly, show you how that thing is made. Got my wicks in the center. Maybe I'll flip this thing upside down. Ugh. Yeah, in the center I got a nut, brass, so it wouldn't be so hard to drill. And every other flat, which gives me a nice spaced 3 things, I've got attached to it my burner arms, like so. The brass pieces are just little brass strips that I bent around to hold these little short sections of aluminum tube. This aluminum tube is very thick, and I'm thinking it may limit the size of wick I can use, and that may be a problem, because really that's not a lot of wick for each burner arm. The entire reason for that inner container made out of the air horn pressurized gas bottle thing is so that I could have this centerpiece mounted. I didn't want to put a hole in the bottom of this, so I put a hole in the bottom of that inner thing and attached it, and then shoved that thing down in here. I was thinking with this method that I could also make like a wannabe Trangia by making tiny jet holes in between where this forces into this outer can, just in this gap, holes all the way around. I did try that and it did not work. It wouldn't preheat. But yeah, I don't know.